Describe Platteview in one word: spectacular.
Good morning, this is Mr. Alexander. This part of the presentation will walk you through some different areas that will help make the 2016-17 school year a more successful one for you and just help ease the transition as you begin your journey to this school year. We'll cover a number of different topics throughout the different presentation slides, and you also just at the end of the day just kind of reflect of all the different things you've heard from the students and from the staff members that have helped participate in these opening day videos, and just realize what a great place that you're a part of. Platteview High School is a great place to go to school, and we just want to have a successful experience for you as well. So here we go. When you walk around the school and in many of your classes during the first couple days of school, your teachers will spend some time visiting with you about our new Vision logo. You'll see several different organizational principles that we want to have exemplified in everything we do, whether it's math class, biology, the marching band, whether it's the football team, the volleyball team, the freshman softball team, any of those things, all of our programs and classrooms and staff members and students, we should exemplify these values. And your staff members are going to have a discussion with you over the course of that first few days about what do these values mean in their classroom? What does it mean to be relevant in mathematics at Platteview High School? What does it mean for trust in a particular classroom or among students in a particular area? And they're going to ask you to contribute to those discussions as well, because we want to know how you view the world of what does it mean to be engaged to you? What do you need from your teacher to provide engagement in your learning environment? So we'll be discussing this for a number of different weeks of the school year, and we hope it becomes kind of a staple here at Platteview High School. Introductions. I just listed some of the people in the main office that you might come into contact with and that are here to serve you. We only have one new teacher this year, which is Kirsten Erke. Mrs. Erke comes to us, and we're just thrilled that she's a part of our staff. She'll be in the World Language Department teaching our Spanish offerings, and what a quality instructor she is, and we're excited that she's joining our staff. We also have a new study hall supervisor and math interventionist, Mr. Butler. He will be serving us in those capacities, and if you have any math needs or any needs as far as tutoring, please contact Mr. Butler. Also, we have a number of different paraprofessionals and a few kitchen staff that are new this year. The teachers or staff members in those areas will spend some time introducing those folks to you as we go through.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Noka. I'm the attendance secretary at Platteview High School. If you're late or need to leave early, you need to stop in the office to sign in or out. If you have a doctor's appointment, you will need to bring a note the same week as that appointment to receive credit for that absence. Be careful. After 6 days absent, a letter will go home to your parents notifying them of your absentee status. 9 days, you could be in danger of not getting credit for that class. So, I can't wait to see you. Come to school on time and ready to learn.
The school day for you veterans, this is kind of old hat. Tuesday through Friday, normal schedules, and then Monday we always have the late start. Just one important reminder is that the academic hallways are closed until 15 minutes prior to the school day. At times, probably we didn't do a good enough job of enforcing that throughout the last few years, and we're going to change that. We really have to allow our staff members some sanctity to be able to plan and get prepared for their first hour classes. Now, if you have a pass, you're allowed in there to show the supervisor your pass, and you're allowed to go work with the teacher if you pre-approved that. We also discussed the possibility that maybe you've coordinated through an email with an instructor the night before, and the instructor has granted you permission via email. If you have permission from an instructor via email, just show it on your iPhone or your iPad as you go up to the supervisor, and you would be allowed past as well. Mrs. Noka spent some time with you earlier about attendance and tardies. This is just kind of reiterating those facts. And the biggest key here is you see that in the red. Daily attendance and engagement, it's critical. If we're going to help you reach your potential, and your staff members here are going to do everything they can for you, but you have a role in that as well. You need to be there and be here on time. We don't want to get to detentions or loss of credit to to have that happen to any student. We want that change by you. We want you to be proactive and be respectful of their time as well and others. When you're walking in classrooms late, it's a distraction to your fellow classmates. So please take care of that. Make sure your parents call in by 9 o'clock. And if you do have an absence that was due to an appointment or you're sick and you have a note from a doctor, get that in the week of your absence so it doesn't count towards the 9 absence total. Also, the main office is where you would check in or out of throughout the day. And we'll talk about door security in a later slide, but just pay attention to always coming through that front entrance when you're reporting to or leaving the campus for the school day.
Hey, just so you know, Mr. Alexander, he's like not giving you the business, if you know what I'm saying. I.
Review of the handbook. Really, you could circle that respect on this slide, and if you just take care of being respectful, all this stuff will go well for you. And we ask you to show respect to each other, to yourself, and we want respect to staff members and to visitors. We have one of the best speakers in the state of Nebraska coming in on Monday the 22nd. And we want to kick things off with just showing people who Platteview High School is. And I want people to leave here going, boy, that place is different. They have it going. They have it going, and they have it together. So let's display that image across the state that we just stand for something different. Profanity. It doesn't matter who it's directed to, or if you're talking to yourself. Profanity will not be allowed at Platteview High School, and that includes hallways, parking lots, talking to a classmate walking down the hall. Not going to happen. We just do not want that. Just that's part of respect, and we will not deal well with disrespect or profanity. Hats in the building. Remember that during the academic day, that take your hat off when you walk through the front door or the door between Platteview High School and Platteview Central if you're going back and forth there. But make sure that the hats aren't worn inside the building during that time. Now, after school or at an activity, you're allowed to do that. Just remember the common courtesy of if we're saluting the flag or a moment of silence, that you remove your hats at that time. Parking lot area. It's a special emphasis this year of the parking lot area. We have a congested, really tight space, and in that space, we have now 400 high school students, junior high campus, and also a junior high campus that serves preschool students. And we cannot have reckless or careless driving going on in our parking lot. So we're going to crack down on that. And if we want to be able to use the parking lot, there are some areas that you have to do a good job in. One is your speed. Another one is never drive distracted in that area. We don't want a mistake to cost somebody an injury or their life. And distraction would mean a number of things. Don't be texting or looking at your cell phone. When you're in that parking lot area in and around 500, 600, 700 people, your total focus needs to be on driving and your surroundings of what's going on around you. Please be respectful of others again, and make sure to park between the lines. And you in the paved parking area, you're only allowed to park in between marked parking spaces. So please take careful consideration of those around you. We're trying to leave on the north end some space for buses and emergency vehicles. We have to have a lane there, so please only park in marked lane spaces. On the north dirt parking lot, just make sure to be considerate there, and the speed limit of 10 miles an hour is also part of that area as well. One area that we cannot park in is the area between Platteview Central and Platteview High School. That area is not for student parking. And then the last one is just make sure not to park in staff parking areas along the building where it's identified as staff. If you're running late and you're jumping into a staff member's spot, you'll be asked to move your vehicle. Hallways, again, we talked about that earlier. Cell phones. Cell phones can be used in between classes and the lunch hour or before and after school. But during your class, Cell phones need to be out of sight and not vibrating, not on ring, so that they're a distraction in the classroom. Sometimes vibrating on a desk or out on your books, it's too loud. It just disrupts what's going on in the classroom for others. So be cautious there. Some staff members may ask you to put your cell phones in a certain location during testing or during different activities, or maybe every day. Teachers have the authority to do that on a given day in their classroom. They set their classroom rules. You may have a situation where sometimes cell phones are a part of the lesson. Just really rely on the instructions from your teacher in that regard. Respect for others, you've heard that about 100 times already, but it's a big deal. Take care of that and make Platteview a great place. Security of the building. There should be 2 doors open during the day, and those are the only 2 doors that should be ever open during the day unless a teacher's with you opening the door for you to come in and out. Everybody should use the door in the front and the door between the 2 schools as our primary entrance and exits. If you're, like I said, if you're leaving for the day or coming first thing, checking out early, go through the main office area. If you ever notice that a door is ajar for any reason, one, we don't want the heat or air conditioning to just be released out into the environment and us having a higher utility bill. And we had a couple times this summer where the doors were propped open and the temperature change is 20 degrees, and it's hard to balance that back up for the rest of the building. So if you notice that, let alone the security, the utility costs, we need to make sure doors are closed. If you happen to notice a student that wants in a different door, they're knocking on the door and they're trying to get in, direct them to the correct entrances. Cleanliness of the building, this one's on all of us. If we see trash, pick it up. If you make a miss, just notify somebody if you can't get it cleaned up so that we can clean it up as quickly as possible. One of the neatest stories I've ever seen when I worked at Adams Central was Mendon High School's volleyball team after a match. It was a great match, and probably an hour and 45-minute match, really competitive. And at the end of the match, all of the volleyball players from Mendon in our gym walked around and picked up every piece of trash before they got on the bus and they left. And people were talking about that for 6 months, about, holy cow, that's classy. So take care of your building, and do that when you go to other people's facilities. Just, again, it's the image of what Platteview High School stands for.
Mr. Lundeen, what's your advice to students for the new school year?
Come with a great attitude and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Homework, we'll talk a little bit about the MAP program later, but homework, you have to be engaged and be prepared for the next day in your class or you're going to fall behind. So make sure you're diligent with your homework, you're in constant contact with your teachers and communicating often, especially around absences. Make sure that you communicate as early as possible with them. Detention, that should be one. Honestly, there should be no reason we have students in detention if we take care of our business.
Have a great year, Trojans. You can count on it.